Hey guys, so welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to take you through 3 SEO tools that can really help take your business to a new level, I guess, especially when it comes to SEO. So SEO or search engine optimization is basically the process of ranking on Google. So if I were to, for example, look up, let me think, easy properties, for example, easy properties. I want to look in Google because I want to know what easy properties. You'll see just over here is sorry, I don't know why it took so long to jump across there, but anyway, you'll see here's once a week. So we've ranked there because of SEO. So how this means is you'll see it's highlighting easy properties in there in bold because that's the term I've searched for. That's known as a keyword or key term. Which I put into Google, and this exists across the board. If you were to look up plumbers, if you were to look up to, a restaurant near me, if you're looking for a new bank, a savings account, whatever you're looking for and typing into Google, whatever page comes up there, in the search results is because of SEO or search engine optimization. Now, while yes, you can do everything completely manually, often it makes your life quite a bit easier to have tools that can help you. The problem is a lot of these tools are quite expensive. I mean, I spend for my agency like probably over $500 a month on SEO tools to help us and our clients with what we're doing in SEO. So but for most businesses, that's just not realistic. There's no point in you spending so much money. So I wanted to give you 3 free alternatives that I've used for quite a while. I've used all of these products. Some I still currently use, and they honestly will help you by far, improve your SEO efforts across the board. Okay, so first is, I'm not doing this in any order, so please don't think like I'm saying this is the most important, but basically, if you're using WordPress, so most websites are using WordPress. If you haven't, I would recommend you take the time to learn WordPress. While yes, it is a higher learning curve, the customizability you have, especially with, plugins like Elementor, Divi, like there's so many website builders you can plug in. It gives you the ability to customize. Without having to continually pay for extra features, so if you get Elementor, for example, you'll pay a yearly fee. That's it. However you want to use one of these other platforms like Wix, Squarespace, things like that, you're going to be continually paying, to use their services and things like that. And there are limitations. So I'm not saying don't use Wix in places you can, but I feel like WordPress has the ability to do it. And from a marketer's perspective, once you've got your business to a point where you want to take everything to the next level and you want to work with a marketing agency like BRBD Marketing, you are going to, WordPress makes my life much easier, mine and my team's life much easier. If you then want to say update your website, it's easy. I can bring in my contacts in the web development space. We can get it done in no time. If you, for example, have a Wix website, you would have to recreate the entire website. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where it is. I'm not saying don't use Wix, don't use Squarespace. I have clients that work with them. They work well. I'm just saying I would advise, if you want to learn and you have the willingness to put it in, use WordPress. And especially, as I say, there's so many guides out there that honestly, like first time when I started learning WordPress, I sat down, watched a 2-hour video and built a website. Easy, you know what I'm saying? So that's how it is. So anyway, so first one is a plugin for WordPress. However, as I say, there are a few around for the other Wix and things as well, but it's called Yoast SEO. So Yoast SEO is one of the best there. There are others. I personally prefer Yoast SEO, but you can use things like all-in-one SEO. It's also a good plugin. What it does is it points out it's basically a checklist, is what I can say. So first off, it looks at your actual content. So what you've written. So I've got a big article above here from Once a Week. If you haven't, check out onceaweek.co.za, really good articles. So first off, you'll see it gives me problems. So the word complexity. Yes, I don't use premium. I've never seen the point in using premium, if I'm honest. But as I say, it says, hey, I should use word complexity. It also says, hey, some of my sentences are a bit long. But again, those are mine. I can say, nah, I'm happy with that. It reads fine. but you can see passive voice, minimal, consecutive, subheadings, paragraphs, all of that. Fine, gives you a minute tick, and it will tell you if you need to do it. And if you don't know what it is, you can click here, go to a link on Yoast's website where they'll explain to you what passive voice is, how to write with it, how to avoid it. So it's, as I say, it's like a checklist. And overall, you can see it's got the green smiley face. So hey, I've done a good job in this article. I didn't actually write this, but one of my team did. They're obviously very good. So that's the one side. So obviously it looks at your article and helps you write from an SEO perspective, because otherwise, as I say, you can write and you'll be like, hey, it's really great, but actually Google can't understand it, and maybe it's not as reader friendly as you'd like. Okay, so number two is the actual, like the SEO and what we call the technical side of things. So first off, it gives you this block. Okay, now this might look a bit weird. You're going, what is this, Brad? So this is called the meta title and your meta description or meta tag. It depends, as I say, names vary, but that's kind of idea. This is basically what shows up here. So this little thing here, that's the meta description, that's the meta title. That's basically what it is. Okay. So often with Yoast, you can have it automated like I've done. So I've just got the title, page, separator, and the site title. But now you can see it's red because it's way too long, which means that like, okay, here's not an issue, but probably on mobile, it wouldn't show up correctly. So you want to make it shorter. So for example, here I could take out the site title and the separator, and it works fine. So great. Okay, so that's one. The slug, I wouldn't really worry too much about it. Just leave it what it is. I've never found with my tests that it makes a huge amount of difference. And then your meta description. Again, here you can see there's nothing in here. It's like too short, So you would want to put a short description of what it is. I'm not going to go into how to write a meta description. There are lots of guides out there to do it, but you'll again see this is too short, needs to be long enough, and that's the one side. Now, here's the second part. So I haven't put in what keyword I'm actually targeting. So I'll need to go to the bottom here and add, okay, right at the top, right in front of me. Anyway, what I'm targeting. So in this one, I'm going to say budgeting because that is the keyword I'm targeting. Now you'll see, boom, it goes to green. No, yellow. Ooh, got work to do. Now I will say, this is, I want to say a little bit low, obviously from SEO, we're obviously often focusing on multiple keywords and it's a bit more dense, but it does give you a lot of other good tips as well. For example, no outbound links. Now, outbound links have been shown to really help rank a website because what you're doing is saying to Google, hey, my article is related to this article. So when you link, for example, say you're writing an article here on budgeting, you find a really good article on Finance 24, you link across to them and Google says, oh, this is, they're linked, they're similar, it just works. So always, I would say try and add at least two, but you can see here, it doesn't say there's no, so it's just saying add some, but there aren't any at the moment. So that's a problem. It's going, hey, Brad, do this. Then there's also key phrase in your meta description. Again, my meta description doesn't say budgeting in it, and Yoast is saying you should. Again, it's best practices to do that. At the end of the day, these things are not going to make your site rank, but they will help it. They'll help it get indexed, help Google to understand what it is, and essentially will get it onto the ranking structure, if that makes sense, which is good. Okay, improvements, again, image key phrase. My images don't have the key phrase in it. Description length, as we spoke about, is too short. Previously, you used key phrase. I've used a key phrase before, and obviously you want to make sure you're writing about lots of different topics, Then it's also got what I've done well. So I've got images, I've got internal links, which are links to other pages on your website. It's got key phrases. As I say, it just gives you a whole checklist. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I've already spent 9 minutes doing this, but as I say, it gives you a whole bunch of stuff that you can actually go through on your website, which is awesome. Okay, number 2 is Ubersuggest. So Ubersuggest is made by Neil Patel. Neil Patel is one of the best digital marketers around, I would say, especially in the SEO space. And so he's made this tool, which is actually free. There is a paid option. I think it's like 120 Rand a month. So it's really not expensive. And what you can do, so let's go to South Africa. So this is a search location. So it's English in South Africa. You can actually do Afrikaans, I think Xhosa and Zulu as well, which is quite cool. So as I say you were looking for, let's just choose something, cheap web hosting, for example, okay? That was, say, a keyword you're trying to target. Okay, let's just wait for it to load. Okay, back and loaded. So what it's done now is, started to do search volume and overview, and it gives you an overview. If you want to see, specific search volume, like how the trend's going, obviously you need to pay. So they are limited, but you'll see things like SEO difficulty, search volume currently, paid difficulty, and the average cost per click, all useful information for you to have. You can also go to this is to me the goldmine part, is the keyword ideas. So keyword ideas basically gives you ideas of what to write. So you can go into here and you'll see the keyword difficulty, try and look for the lowest possible. Cheap web hosting in South Africa, cheapest web hosting in South Africa, and these are keywords you want to try and include in your article as naturally as possible. And then you can also go to questions, which is great. So, it doesn't actually give me nice questions today. No, okay, this one doesn't. Oh, there you go. How much is web hosting on GoDaddy? It depends on the query of how good the questions are, but sometimes it can give you questions related. It can just give you keyword ideas and topic ideas. Sometimes if I'm looking for actual topics, I'll come in. So I use a different tool now, a bit more of a in-depth tool called Ahrefs, but I've used it before. What I will do is say, type in, hey, I'm wanting to do an article on web hosting, put something in and go, okay, cool, cheap web hosting or web hosting price in South Africa. And then I'll do an article on the comparisons of web hosting pricing in South Africa. So it can actually give you ideas, and also say by including, a few keywords in your article, you can also help in your SEO, which is awesome. Okay, and lastly, this is the one that's probably going to confuse most people, is Grammarly. Yeah, I know, right? So nobody likes reading spelling mistakes or seeing spelling mistakes, including Google. So if you have spelling mistakes in your article or whatever you're writing, it's not going to rank well. Like, that is proven. And so, like, for example, I've just written a really bad, few sentences here in Google Docs. So you can see, I see you over there, it's the wrong there. And Grammarly, by plugging in the free version, literally plugs in, and it plugs into all the docs as far as I know. It plugs into WordPress, plugs into Wix, literally, you just install the Chrome plugin and it tells you when you're making a spelling mistake. You can set it to US English, UK English, Australian English, Canadian English, depending what English you're using. And as I say, it checks what you're writing for you. So here, as I say, I've used the wrong there. It should be there, as in, because it's over there. And same, I spelled wrong incorrectly, and I, didn't use a capital, and all those sort of things. And this all points out for free. I know, right? Even also has a plagiarism checker built in, which you can use as well for free. It doesn't give you as much detail. And if you want to use the premium version, I think it's $144 a year, which I know sounds like a lot, but as I say, then you get extreme stuff. So, I mean, I don't know how much it's going to show me now in the short, but you can see you get clarity, engagement, delivery, correctness. So it'll tell you, hey, the sentence is too long, or you haven't written this in the right way, or as I say, it's just so much that it can do. So I would honestly highly recommend you install Grammarly, the free version at least, because I mean, it's free. Like, why not? So yeah, those are 3 ways if you're wanting to, increase your SEO presence, as a small business owner in South Africa. Then, you definitely need to have Yoast SEO. You definitely need to have Ubersuggest, and you need to have Grammarly. I mean, what else is there? And then, as I say, you're ready for when you want to go, upgrade to an SEO agency like BRBD Marketing. You're not then starting from scratch, and I have to go back through reams and, tons of posts to correct grammar and correct, keywords and stuff like that, because you can already have a strategy. And then when you join an SEO agency, then you're, as I say, at a better level, and the results you can expect are slightly better, which is awesome. But anyway, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to pop them in the comments down below. I will get back to you with any comments you have. And and as I say, stay tuned. I'm going to go into more in depth. This is obviously very, very, top order, very basic stuff. And I've tried not to go too deep. I mean, we've already taken up 15 minutes with this video almost. And as I say, but in future, I'm going to start adding more videos where we're going to go deeper dive into SEO, what it is, how to use it, and how to use it for your small business in the easiest way to understand possible. So That's it. Make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, and as